one said, "It is finished." Then rose from the dead, and now sit at the right hand of God the Father, who is Jesus the Christ. We've been delayed trying to wait for the mayor to come from the funeral. We're going to go and get started. And when he arrives, he just come on to the program. For all of our clergy, the Honorable Mayor Dan Gibson is after all elected officials. To our NAPAC curator, Dr. Bobby Dennis, to our NAPAC board of directors, to all of our honorees, and to all of you who have blessed us with your presence this evening. We stand to welcome you to the edifice of the oldest Black Baptist congregation in the state of Mississippi, Rose Hill Missionary Baptist Church, pastored by yours truly. We are happy indeed to have you with us this evening to celebrate NAPAC Kickback program as they honor retired educators over the age of 80. God has blessed them to live and touch the lives of many. 80 plus the prayers of Moses in Psalms Division 90. Let us give God and them a hand clap of praise for the blessing. And now I present to you the moderator for our program, Mr. Bobby Dennis. Let's give him a hand as they come.
Thank you, Reverend Leroy. Well, once again, I am very honored to be able to come tonight and celebrate as well as honor our educators. So often have we gone through and look at history and we forget those who started us off with history. We forget to talk about the incentive that that educator placed upon us once we got started. I've always wondered what makes an educator love a child so much that they bring them and nourish them in ways to help them. As a student and a product of the natural school system, I've noticed that as I grew older, those instructors that taught me followed my progress. When I was under them, they saw potential in me that I didn't see in myself. As I grew older, they watched, paid attention to whether or not I followed those standards laid out by them. But I never thought so much as to think, what troubles, what motivated that educator? And tonight, this program is designed to look at that, to celebrate the individual thought of an educator in making sure that we are guided, we look forward to a future, and giving us those things to help us understand and make a struggle come into something that's productive, that leads us on for a better tomorrow. Tonight's panel will include Ms. Joyce Arsenault. Could you come forward and have a seat, Ms. Arsenault? Mrs. Andrew McDonald. Ms. Thelma Newsom. Mr. Larry Jackson. And Mr. Cleveland Watts. In moving forward, I have put together some questions questions in which I ask myself. The more I mature, the more those questions can come to life. But since I've been dabbling in history, I found out it's better to get words from an individual mouth rather than just pick up and read without understanding what the person is actually saying themselves. So these questions are designed to follow that path of what kept them motivated while going through the changes that's taking place in the school system as the school system developed. And our first question is for Ms. McDonald. And the question is, during the period of school integration, what kinds of support or lack of support did you experience from the school district, staff, or the broader education system? You know what I mean? The school board, when you were coming through those changes that had taken place when we integrated the schools.
Good evening to everyone. I was blessed to attend North Natchez High School from 1984 to 1988. I cannot say that I lacked anything in my education. As I looked out in the audience today to see all of these noteworthy educators that I sat in their classrooms or worked alongside, we were very fortunate and very blessed at North Natchez High School to have educators who saw the potential in everyone who sat in their classrooms. We were very blessed that those teachers demonstrated, modeled for us a level of excellence and required that we obtain that level or rose to that level of excellence as well. So they didn't let us hide, they didn't let us slide. The standard was set. And we had to meet the standard. Ms. Arsenault was my teacher from 6 years old, because she was my piano teacher. She was my piano teacher, but also had the blessing of serving under her as a choir director. And one thing she ensured, that we understood that her standard was the standard. Superior was the goal. And so it was our task in order to rise to that. And whatever it took for her to do to make certain that we obtained that, that's what happened. She poured into us and made us believe that we were worthy of that level of excellence and we were capable of achieving it. Now, one thing that I can say was different, being a student at North Natchez, and hearing about students who attended South Natchez, we knew there were some differences. We knew that there were some allowances that were allowed for children who attended South Natchez, which was more mixed, but we knew that was the white high school, and there were some black students who went, whereas North Natchez was the high school for the black students on the northern side of town. So we knew that there were some differences. I can also say that as a student in Natchez Adams School District, I knew of the superintendent, but I can never tell you that I was ever introduced to the superintendent or ever had conversations or even ever saw the superintendent at our school. Now, they could have come, may have come, I'm not quite certain, but as a student, that was just not our experience. To have central office leaders that were not like us being present in our schools on a continuous basis. So that was a difference that we experienced.
Thank you. Ms. Arsenault, my next question deal with leadership and policy. How did school leadership principals, superintendents, school boards influence your ability to teach effectively during integration? And were the policies helpful, harmful, or inconsistent?
Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me? Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me? Because I can put this down and I can guarantee you will hear me. All right, so is it working in the back? Okay, thank you very much. First of all, thank you for inviting me, and thank you for that particular question. I'm going to read something to you. I'm trying to time this thing because I went to the Democrat earlier today. School court order, how we got here, because that's not when I started teaching. I started teaching in 1970. Then I left here. I thought I was only going to be here 1 year, and I was going to Detroit and be in Detroit the rest of my life. So I taught in 70 when they first integrated. So we had 2 integrations. And then I came back in 75, and then lo and behold in 1989. It says, until 1989, when the newest court order was handed down to the Natchez Adams School District, the district had been operating under a desegregation plan set in 1969, which was slightly modified in 1970. That served as the blueprint under which the district could operate. But in 1988, 3 planners, Lonnie Nichols Jr., Kareem West, and Bahati Harden, 3 minor children attending school in the Natchez Adams School District, were named plaintiff interveners along with the federal government, and in 1989 filed a joint motion for a trial against the district, saying a new desegregation plan was needed. In 1988, the plaintiffs were certified as representatives of the entire black class of students in the school district and their parents or guardians. In June 1989, District Judge William H. Barber Jr. heard the case, and after deliberating for more than a month, handed down a decision on July 24th, 1989. And that modified, we started moving. Once we got that decision, we had to jump up, we had to grab everything that we had at North Natchez, and we had to move. I'm only going to read the first part of this plan. The plan was to implement I'm going to read the part that deals with my part, the high school. Implement one district-wide high school on the campus of South Natchez High School to house grades 10 through 12 in 1989-90 school year and grades 9 through 12 after that. The court gave the district 1 year for construction to deal with capacity problems of having all 4 grade levels at one school, a capacity that could not have presently been met in the existing facility. So as soon as we understood we were moving and what was happening, because we knew some things were going on and there were rumors. There were rumors that we were going to have to start with, like, lose a grade a year. And I'm like, oh, Lord, I'm going to lose my choir, because then if I lose the 9th grade, then I won't have a feeder, then I'm going to lose the 10th grade. That was where it was going to go at first. And then you were going to finally be down to just 1 grade. So I would have just had 1 grade, and then but you're still competing with schools that have a full organization of school. So, but then I had to put 106. That was my room at North Natchez. I had to put 106 out of my mind and deal with what was best for the children that I was working with. Now, I'm going to read all this to you. I just want you to understand. One of the questions he asked me, was it harmful? Was the policies helpful, harmful, or inconsistent? On my sheet is bold. Harmful and inconsistent. But let me say this to you. I have found in my life that when God got something for me to do, it's going to work. I don't have to work it that hard. When I'm working at something hard and doors are constantly being closed, or I got this blocking or that blocking, it's something wrong. I'm not supposed to be there. But when the doors just go on and open on up, everything falls in place. I'm where I'm supposed to be. God is blessing me. He's going to be with me, and he's going to guide what I'm supposed to do. Well, what happened was, at the time of this particular decision by Judge Barber, I was president of the local teachers union. I was the president here in Natchez, but I was also the vice president of the state teachers union. When we moved, Mr. Reed was the principal at the high school. I went out there, I said, Mr. Reed, we got to do something. Let me give you a plan. Here's a plan of what we can do. We can audition these students, and we can just have 1 big choir, and we can bring in these folks and audition and do all this stuff. So we got out to South Natchez, but it was Natchez High. I had 3 classes. I'm talking about policy now. I had 3 classes, and Mr. Dale Owens had 3 classes. I had the same 3 classes that the students were enrolled in at North Natchez. All of those students came with me. If you in the choir, if you're up here now, you remember that. We had our 3 classes. LJ, all that group came. Dwight, all of that. That was the group, okay? We had those 3 classes, and Mr. Owens had his 3 classes. And then there was a discussion. So Mr. Owens said, well, why don't you direct the girls' choir? I said, I do better with boys than I do with girls. I said, I can have both. Doesn't make any difference. So then we decided we had to fight through that. We're talking policy now. We had to fight through that discussion. Because, see, they put Harold Wayne Barnett, Dr. Barnett, in charge of the choral music department. And he formulated Mr. Watts' part of that. Ms. Watts was a big part of it. We had a booster club. We had to do we met in the evenings. We did bylaws. We did all kind of stuff to try to get straight about how we were going to handle these black kids in this choir and these white kids in this choir. So when we got into the program, we decided, it worked out that we would each select a selection, because the choirs generally had to sing 2 selections. So Mr. Owens would direct one, I would direct the other. So that was SATB, mixed choir, SSA, girls choir, TTBB, boys choir. But Mr. Owens said, oh, no, I can't do, I've already selected my quartet, my sextet, my madrigal, my mixed ensemble. Those were set. I set them last year. Before Judge Barber spoke, he set them. Dr. Barnett said, well, Ms. Osler, you used to always take more than one group to district. I said, I did. I had more than one sextet. But when Xander and them sang, they knew that I had to enter one sextet that I had to say, be me right or be me wrong, they were going to state. I couldn't enter all 3 of them for state. So I had to decide. I used to tell them, I said, I may enter my senior sextet. They may not win, but y'all got to go with me. Y'all got to work with me because you're going to move up. But he didn't understand that. So we went on down on it. The first place we sang was down at Long Beach Choral Festival. We went down there with mixed choirs. I'm directing one. He's directing the number 5. Got to the sextets. We had a South Natchez sextet that had already been set, a South Natchez quartet, a South Natchez madrigal, a South Natchez mixed ensemble. It's policy now we're talking about. That was the question. We had a North Natchez sextet. We had a North Natchez quartet. And matter of fact, I borrowed one of his students. He had a student that, Glendale Brown. Glendale was not in the quartet. And so, but Glendale liked to sing with all the fellas that were singing with me all over churches. And so I said, well, Glendale, you want to sing? He said, yeah. I said, now, Glendale, it's going to be a problem. Let Mama handle it. I got this one. I said, are you in a quartet? He said, no, ma'am, I'm not in a quartet. I said, are you in the mixed ensemble over there? But Mr. Owens, no, ma'am. I said, are you in? He said, no, ma'am, I'm in the class. I sing in the choir. I said, no problem. We met. Mr. Owens went off. Well, you got my student. I said, I thought we had all the students. I thought we were all together with all the students. Were you using Mr. Brown, Mr. Glendale? He said, no. I said, well, baby, I'm sorry, but I got him because y'all know if I find somebody can sing, I'm going to grab that person. They're going to be with me. So we didn't have that problem. Got down there on the coast. We got these separated groups. Come back. And I had asked them to audition them. State Mississippi High School Activities Association told me you can't enter. You cannot enter Natchez High School with separated sextets, quartets. You understand what I'm saying? So we're talking policy that was harmful. Now I'm going to really speed forward because I got to get you to the suit. Went through the whole school year, got all that through. We won everywhere we went because we were good. I get my contract, and those of you who have been teachers, you don't look at nothing in your contract. I'm going to put all this down now because I'm through. But what they say they're going to pay you the next year, that's what you look at. I'm walking down there. We're trying to have spring concert. I'm opening up my contract, and I'm trying to find out what I'm going to make, and they send me to Northside. Y'all forgot all about that. I know y'all forgot it. That's all right. And they're going to send me to Northside, and I'm going to teach music at Northside. I had even gotten my, Tony, what's the man's name? My Hammer pants. You know who I'm talking about? What's the performer's name? Hammer that danced all over the place. Yeah, MC Hammer. I had bought a whole group of Hammer. I said, because if I'm at Northside, I'm going to wear my Hammer pants. I can sit on the floor. I can teach the children. I'm just that much closer to the courthouse because I'm going to suit. So I came home, and I was upset that day, but I called MAE, Mississippi Association of Educators, and Jerry Carruthers answered the phone. He said, Joyce, take a deep breath, go back down there, go back over to the school, do the spring concert, don't worry about it, sign the contract. I had black people, white people, green people, orange people. Well, if she didn't like what they were doing, why did she sign the contract? Because I can't sue over a job I don't have. I couldn't have sued over a job I did not have because I would not have signed the contract, so therefore I would not have been employed. So, like I said, I had my hammer pants. I was ready for everything, whatever was going to go there. And we go all the way through the summer, and it's called a RIF policy. I was trying to figure out what was it called, redundancy. It's called a RIF, reduction in force. Because, see, you only have a few choral directors in a school district. You don't have, like the English teachers, you have multiple English teachers, multiple science teachers, multiple math, but you're going to have one choir director. So he was the choir director at First Baptist. First Baptist sit on the right-hand side of God, and I think the Jesuits on the left. I don't know where the rest of us are. But anyway, he was organist at First Baptist. So he got through 1 year with it mixed up, but he wasn't going through that again. And I agree with him. My husband don't want to be with me sometimes, so I know he probably didn't, but we had a pretty good year, Tommy. We had a pretty good year. All right. So we got through this, and that summer we were suing. So the Mississippi Association of Educators, bless them, gave me Vic McTeer out of Greenville, and Vic McTeer did not play. And I will tell you something. I want everybody to hear this. I didn't really want to teach anymore. I told Vic, I said, Vic, I want $1 million. I said, this is what I want. I don't know what you're going to charge, but you charge that in excess of the $1 million that I'm going to get, because I'm not going to have to deal with this anymore unless I want to. I love y'all, but I mean, I wanted $1 million. That's what I felt. I was hurt. My mama had gotten so upset she had Bell's palsy. I said, Mama, calm down. We're going to be all right. My husband died in '88. I'm a single parent. I got a child entering college. That was her senior year in high school. Wasn't that nice? You just gonna be demoted. Then everybody in elementary decided, what is she talking about? That's not a demotion. It would have been a demotion if I had been teaching elementary and been moved to high school. It's where you are, where you're coming. Where's your record? Where was my record? My record was not in elementary school. Everything that I had given to the school district was in high school. So to break it on down, when we went to court, I really don't remember going to court. I just remember that my mother told me in August, she came and she said, wake up, baby, the school district got you on the phone. They want you to come down to the board. I said, down to the board? She said, yeah. So I went to the phone, and they told me they had a meeting at 10 o'clock, and they wanted me to be there. So I called MAE, and they said, take a tape recorder with you, tape everything they said. So I walked in, and I said, I've been advised to tape the conversation. Oh, you won't need that. You won't need that. We just wanted to let you know. And this is the one thing you heard because they didn't give me $1 million. But anyway, we just want to let you know. Just want to let you know that Mr. Owens and Mrs. Owens are moving to Tupelo. And they're going to Tupelo because Mr. Owens wants to finish. He wants to work on his doctorate. And he's going to be up by Ole Miss, and he's going to work on his doctorate. And we just want you to know you're going to be at the high school. You won't move. I told Vic, I said, where's my money? He said, well, we can't show that you really had a loss because you're back. We're talking about from May to August. School. Okay, so we get through that, and they asked me, wrong question, how do you feel about that? I said, how do I feel about it? Yeah, how do you feel about what we do and this is what we're going to do? I said, I feel that you just lost 2 very dedicated, very educated, very well-trained choral music directors because you did not have an objective policy. You had a policy that was built on race. It was racial. It was discriminatory. Not only was it discriminatory on race, as far as I was concerned, it was discriminatory on gender, and it was discriminatory on age, because I know I must have been teaching. Mr. Owens probably was in junior high school when I started teaching here in Natchez, and he was not from Natchez. You see, you got certain things that you're supposed to look at when you decide to move people around. So the policies were not equal, but we lived through them.
Thank you, Ms. Arsenault. Well, moving on, the next 2 questions is from Ms. Thelma Newsom, which is exposure to learning materials. How did access to textbooks, classroom supplies, curriculum materials change before, during, and after integration? In what ways did those materials reflect or fail to reflect the identities and histories of black students? And the second question is curriculum and representation. Did integration change what we were allowed to or encouraged to teach, particularly regarding black history, culture, or local community knowledge? And how did that affect student engagement?
Thank you, Mr. Dennis. And I'm going to ask you all to bear with me because I started coughing yesterday, and it does affect my voice at times. So if I get a coughing spell, please understand, but I'm going to try to answer these two questions that Mr. Dennis has given me. And the first one deals with supplies and materials before, during, and after integration. Now, I don't know how many of you recall, as I do, I went to school at Broomfield. I started in kindergarten there at 4 years old. I have no idea how my mama got me in school at 4, but I was there. Cried every day the first few days because I didn't want to be away from my mama. Mrs. Presley, Francine Presley, was my kindergarten teacher. Mrs. Presley taught music as well as teaching us in kindergarten. I can't remember having little toys and stuff that you see in the kindergarten classrooms now. I don't remember any of that. I remember sitting in the little bitty desk, and I remember us having to count and do some things, but I do not remember having any of the little toys of any kind that you see in classrooms now for kindergartners or even the pre-Ks. Go on up a little further. I was 3rd grade. Mrs. Crum was my teacher. The only thing I remember us having was a chalkboard. We didn't have whiteboards then. We had a chalkboard. And Mrs. Crum would make charts for spelling. And I guess I remember spelling so well because I never could spell. But she would have the charts with all of the different rules about the vowels and this, that, and the other, and they would be all around the room. We had a set of alphabets above the blackboard. That's all I remember having as materials. We had paper and pencil, but they were purchased by our parents. We had workbooks. They were purchased by our parents. And if your parent could not pay for the workbook, you didn't have one. That's how it was back then. If you did not pay for your workbook, you did not get one. This rule was all the way through, believe it or not, until when I became principal at Morgantown School. That year, they had all of these book companies that had come in, and they had brought reading books. And they had all of these supplies and materials they were giving you along with the reading program if you adopted their program. So one of the questions we were asking is, we have these workbooks and our children have to buy them. And half of the time, because the children can't pay for them, they don't have them. Well, somehow, starting that year, they started giving us the workbooks for the children. We did not have to pay for them any longer. And that meant every child could have a workbook. The only other thing that I remember having in a classroom at elementary was an abacus. I can't tell you today how to use it. We were told what it was because as children, we would ask. But nobody ever showed us how you use an abacus. And if you brought me one right now, I still can't really tell you how to use it. So those are some of the things that we had to deal with. Our teachers made whatever it was that we needed to help us with learning. We did not have materials that were purchased from anybody anywhere. That was all we had. But as Mrs. Arsenault mentioned and Mrs. McDonald mentioned, we had caring teachers. They didn't allow us not to learn. You learned regardless. And I sometimes, in talking with people, say, you know, we hear talk about special education, and we talk about children who can't learn, and 504 and all of these things. I can't say that they weren't present when I went to school. However, we didn't know them if they were, because whatever we learned, they learned. They may not have learned as much as we did, but they learned some of it. And your teacher would pair you with little Johnny over here, and you taught Johnny. And I recall so vividly when I was at Alcorn, one of our instructors, we were doing something with science, and he was up at the board and he was explaining to us about teaching children and some of the different methods of teaching children. And he told us this story about the little girl who the teacher was trying to explain the new math to her. And the little girl just couldn't get it, because when you got the new math, it was all of this stuff about renaming and regrouping. And so finally he had one of the other students to come up to the board and work with this little girl. And he heard the little girl say, "Oh, I got it." And he turned around and he said, "Well, what did you do? She couldn't get it when I was telling her." She said, "All I did was told her, you pick it up from here and you told it over there." And that's the kind of thing that we knew had to be done. It didn't matter if you said you borrowing it, you carrying it, you toting it, whatever you're doing, as long as the child understood the concept. I can't remember when we started getting new textbooks, because for the longest when I was in school, our textbooks would sometimes have one of the little library jackets glued in the front of it with a little card with lines on it, and that's what was used for us to put our names on, because all of the spaces in the book had been used up by the other race of children. But it didn't stop us from learning. I say all of the time, I'm not the brightest bulb in the pack, but I can hold my own. I have 4 children who went through Natchez Adams School District, and I will put them up against anybody's child that went to school anyway. I have a son who went to Morehouse, and it was the funniest thing, because when he pledged, his pledge name was Natch. And he says that he got that name because none of the guys knew anything about Natchez. They had never heard of Natchez. And they always questioned him about his intellect. But if Mrs. Penny Dickey was still living, she would tell you that child read every King Arthur type book in her library at Northside, every one of them. He was a reader, and to this day he still reads. But it's what you pour, as Mrs. McDonald said, into the children that they will soak up. They may not get everything that you pour into them, but they're going to get some of it. During integration, we finally started getting some supplies and materials for our classrooms. Now, sometimes we'd have to fight to get them. Sometimes we'd get what was left over. I remember with the Title I funds that people love to talk about, and they were supposed to have been used in classrooms where you had a lot of underprivileged children. With our school district, the other schools got first in whatever they wanted to order. And if we thought it was something you might could use at your school, then your school would get some of it. But that was the way things were. And back then, we didn't know how to fight and get those things we wanted. We'd fuss and complain, but that was the way things went. We were not the leaders. We were not in leadership roles. I was a fourth grade teacher at Northside, Fraser. And one of the stories in our reading book dealt with petrified forest, petrified wood. And they talked about the giant sequoia trees in California and how some of the wood would be petrified in this forest. Well, we found out that in Floral, Mississippi, there's a petrified forest. And we made plans and started taking our children. Lo and behold, our children started doing so well on the achievement tests that one morning we looked up and here comes half of central office. Our principal was told we could no longer do the assembly programs we had been doing, and we could no longer do the field trips we had been doing. Well, we didn't make things any better. That's okay. Greater Mount Sinai Missionary Baptist Church was right up the street from my house. We had the buses to meet us at the parking lot. We collected our money on the parking lot. We purchased our own receipt books and wrote our parents their receipts. When we came back to the parking lot. And that's where the parents came and got their children. We were determined we were not going to let them interfere with our children learning. And they did not. So with the integration thing, it held us back some for a while because we didn't have as much as the others had. But once our teachers realized what it was they needed to do to help us to get where the others were, we did every bit of that and more. And I'm not going to say any more because I could sit here and talk all night about my experiences as a teacher and an administrator. But those are just some of the things. And I truly believe this. I don't know if any of you remember the little booklet that McDonald's would print during Black History Month. McDonald's had 2 or 3 little booklets. They were about the size of a 4th sheet of paper. And they were free. You could go out and pick them up. We would always use those booklets to teach our Black history lessons. Our children would do reports on the persons in those little booklets. They would read those little booklets. We had weekly readers that would have information about Black history. So there's a way to get around some of the things that they tried to do to us. And we fought and on every hand to find a way, and we did. When one would get something, they would send and tell the others. They would share with the others. And that's how we made it as well as we did. And I guess I'm supposed to go on to my next question. The next question dealt with curriculum and representation. I'll never forget when Dr. Buckley was superintendent here. Dr. Buckley had every person in the district who had acquired administrative licensure. We went through a program that was an assessment center for administrators. And at the end of that program, he placed some of us in internships. As a result of that, some people were able to move into administrative positions. we were talking one day about curriculum. And I said to Dr. Buckley, I said, you know, curriculum is the one piece I don't think I would ever be able to do because it's so much of it. And he looked at me and he said, don't ever sell yourself short like that, because you are one of the smartest people I have come across in this district. And to me, that coming from the white superintendent, it really shocked and surprised me. But I did take note of that, and from that day forward, I never put myself down about doing anything. When Dr. Buckley named me as an assistant principal at Morgantown, I had a hard battle my first year, because sometimes when you put in those positions, if the person ahead of you feels or thinks that they are being threatened, you don't have as easy a time. But one of the things I was able to do, I worked with the curriculum and with those teachers who were dealing with curriculum. Mr. Frazier used to have us to do something called a timeline, and we also did a scaffolding of the subject we were teaching. Well, lo and behold, at Morgantown, I started teachers doing the timeline and the scaffolding. That helped me tremendously to learn this grade is supposed to know these things in English and reading and whatever. When they get to this grade, this is what they should know. So when it came to curriculum, I became fairly good at what you should know on the elementary level now. I tell them all of the time, I'm not a high school person, but I can take the elementary and I can move them wherever they need to go. So even though integration did try to stop us some with some of the things we did, we found a way to make it work. And now, even when I go in classrooms to this day, I can pretty much in an elementary class tell you if that teacher is on target. I don't do it because that's not my job anymore, but it's something I learned to do. So integration played a significant role in some of the things we as black teachers had to learn to do. If we wanted our children to succeed, we had to know the whole gamut. And that was how we went about doing it, so that they not only learned the information you had in that one classroom, but we were always told, you teach children, not pages. And so we made sure we taught our children. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Ms. Taylor. Ms. Newsom. You see, you're taking me back in time. Well, my next two questions are going to go to Mr. Jackson, which is going to deal with student conduct and morality and discipline and equity.
First, I'd like to say that my name is Larry Jackson, and I was assigned to South Natchez, which was the majority white school in the late 70s. Also at our school, we had a large number of black students that were living in the northern part of Natchez. When I first arrived at South Natchez as the assistant principal, I was told by my coworkers, the other administrators in the school, that I was to look out for the black kids, especially, and also look out for the white students. Now, I like working with students. I have a clique or something, and I'm able to work with anybody. And this is what I did. I had a head principal, Mr. K, who one evening came and said, Larry, he didn't call me Mr. Jackson, he called me Larry. That's okay. I trust you. Whatever you want to do in this school, do it. And I'll back you up. You know, I started thinking, I said, when is this man telling me the truth? But I found out that he was telling me the truth. Mr. K was a little sluggish. So to be truthful with you, I hate to brag, but I ran the school. Actually, though, we had a good school, a very good school. And as a result of it, I worked with black kids. I work with white kids. My philosophy in dealing with kids is this. If you're having trouble with our boys and girls, call the parents. Get them to come out to the school and let's see what's going on. And you know what? That worked. I remember one time I had a young man, I can't call his name because the young man is still living, that was giving me a problem. I said, boy, what's your mother's name? Give me her telephone number. I called her, I said, ma'am, I'm having trouble with your son. She said, Mr. Jackson, you don't need me. I trust you. Do what you need to do. And this is what I did. This is the way that I handle things at South Natchez. Now, at South Natchez, those things that we needed, we got it, because I was in charge of a lot of things. Textbooks. I was also in charge of the money when after our ball games, you know who took the money to the bank? Larry Jackson. As far as our behavior in our school, we had some very good students there. And another thing, let me tell you about our students at South Natchez. We were very competitive, especially the black students. We were competing against our white students and especially our black students from the other school, North Natchez. We didn't want them to outdo us in anything that we had to do. And I used to sort of back them a little bit on that one, because this is the way that I handle things. Like I said before, when I was in there, and Mr. K said, Mr. Jackson, do what you want to do. Because, see, he was a little sluggish, but he was a good man, though. And he knew good things, and I was a good thing. I remember when I went to South Natchez. I went over there. My wife tells me, don't get up there talking all night. So I went downtown to talk to the superintendent. And he said, Mr. Jackson, I'm hearing that you got your administrative degree. I said, yes, I got it. He said, you know what? There's an opening at South Natchez. Go over there and talk to Mr. K and see if you want that job. I said, yes, sir. I went and called my wife and told her, my wife of 59 years, that I'm going to go and talk to to the superintendent. So I went over there and talked to him, and he said, after talking to him, he told me, he said, Mr. Jackson, if you want the job is yours. I said, yes, sir, I want the job. Let me tell you something else, though. When I got that job, I had a $3,000 increase in pay. And you talking about a young man that was happy then, you know. But I could truly say, though, that our students' conduct, it was excellent. My wife and I were talking about it the other night, and I can only remember maybe one fight that we had over there. And I was over there 20-some years. Our students weren't there to fight. I tell them, boy, you aren't here to fight. You're here to learn. And as a result of it, I don't know why, but they liked what I was telling them, and this is the way that I handle South Natchez. Our students were respectful, and they were highly motivated. Now, a lot of you think that he's lying, but I'm not. I'm in God's house, and I ain't going to lie in God's house. But this is the way that we handle our students. You know, I see some of my teachers in here, and they'll tell you that we had a good school. But it's what you expect of your students that's important in your school. Now, if you don't expect nothing, you won't get anything. But get in there and work with the students there. Plus, another thing, too, what we used to do, though. At the beginning of the school, we had a handbook. And we would go over that handbook and tell our boys and girls that this is what is expected of you. And you had to do that. Now, if you didn't do that, like I told you before, I'm going to call your parents. And when they get out here, you could almost count on 3 days at home. But by letting them know where we were coming from, that helped us tremendously. Let me look at a little more thing. I don't have much longer to talk, but I need to talk a little longer there. Like I said before, we were talking about fighting and misconduct. We didn't hardly have that. No. Now, our black students like being with black students, and our white students like being with the white students. Well, that's a natural one. But there wasn't a problem when they were together. I see one of my old teachers sitting over there by the side there. Look at her. I'm looking at her over there right now smiling. You know, she tell you I ain't telling no story, you know. The students got along with each other. And as a result of that, we were fair with our students. Now, if I had a teacher that wasn't fair, some of them would come and tell me, Mr. Jackson, you need to go and check on that. And I would go and talk to them. I remember one time I almost got in trouble. We had a teacher that had taken a little special ed kids to the library. And when they left, she took a Ebony magazine with her. I'll never forget that. So I went by her room just to see what's happening, and I looked there, and she was at her desk reading the Ebony magazine. The students were in there. They were doing what they were supposed to be doing, but I told her, I said, ma'am, this isn't the way that we handle things right here. And I told her about it, and if she were here, then you can see that I'm telling the truth and everything there. But it's been said that the head sets the tone, and that's the true saying about life. If you got something going on in your life, let them know what you expect of it. And if it's God's willing, it will be done. I enjoy South Natchez High. I'm hearing a little something about my school over here, but we tried doing everything. I was in charge of the textbooks, too. I heard the young lady mention that they need that. I was in charge of that. But we tried to do all that we could to help our boys and girls. And that's what we need right now. Let me tell you something else, too. Look, about 2 years ago, I was over at the high school, and I saw a young man with his pants down almost to his knees. I said, young man, why don't you pull your pants up? Now, I'm exaggerating a little bit about your knees, though. But I said, why don't you pull your pants up? The young man looked at me. He didn't know me from anybody. But I tell you what, he did pull his pants up, but he didn't say any bad things about me. They kept on what he was doing. But we got to let our boys and girls know, you know, this is what we expect of you. And if it is the Lord's will, it will be done. If it isn't, well, then you're going to have to pray a little more there. All right, my other question had to do with, I look like I've done both of them. Discipline and equity. All our boys and girls are the same. It's the way that you treat them. And whenever I see my parents, first thing I'll ask about it, how's my young man doing? And then I'll tell them, say, look, tell them Larry Jackson asked about him, you know. And if you expect something, if it's the Lord's will, it will happen. And that's how I operated. And if I had to do the same thing, I would do that. And I tell you something else I didn't do. I didn't miss school. The only time that I missed school was when I had my hip operated on. And I would go to school each and every day. expecting positive things from our boys and girls. And that's what I think we as adults should do. Expect positive things to them. Don't talk about them. Talk to them. And if we were to do that, they're going to be all right. Mr. Dennis?
Well, thank you, Mr. Jackson. Now, my next two questions are dealing with integration with white instructors and culture, understanding, and relationships. Now, these two questions I feel are very important for us to go through, because as kids, growing up in the system and especially being a part of that class that was split up, the class of 1971, when they took us and said a North and a South Natchez. A lot of us felt as if we were losing our identity. We got separated from those kids that were with us from the beginning, and now they're in a different zone. We don't see them anymore. Instructors went through the same thing, but how much did we see they were putting up with and what they were doing to encourage us to follow our culture? And I think these two questions should give us some clarity on that. So, Mr. Watts.
Good evening. On the first question, I'm going to divide. On the first question, I'm going to have to divide it into two parts. The first part is going to be with the experiences, and then the second part is going to be the challenges and the success. The first thing we know, there were three very important parts in the experiences. The first one was cultural awareness, trust issues, and expectation and bias. Under cultural awareness, white teachers entered black schools lacking understanding of the students' history, the students' neighbor they lived in, communication styles, and family expectation. On trust issues, there was a sense of uncertainty and anxiety. Many black students, communities had long history of unfair treatment from whites, so trust was a barrier and it wasn't automatic. So that had to be gained by both student and teacher. On expectation and bias, some white teachers arrived with deficits assuming about students' ability. Lack of understanding of the black students' background create bias that impacted students' experience and outcomes. Now we'll talk about the challenges and the success. The challenges for the students. Many experienced black principals and teachers lost positions, authority when system was merged. Students sometimes felt they lost advocates who understood them culturally and personally. For the white teacher, lack of empathy based on their understanding that they're bringing up in family style of a black child compared to white and vice versa. Now we're going to talk about the success. Integration brought better materials, which we've talked about, broader courses, offerings, an improved pathway to college. So there was a more experience opening, as we've heard from our fellow panelists, which had talked about some of the things they went through. are some of the things they experienced while teaching before integration. Let's talk about the success. First, I'm going to talk about not just talk about the student. Now let's talk about the white teacher. It helped in bringing barriers and overcome transformations, suspicions, into partnership. And that's what got us to where we are now, because that mother was trust that came between the teacher and the students. Now that went both ways, especially with black and white teachers. Let's look at the second one, where we talk about cultural and understanding relationship. Culture and understanding turned out to be one of the major factors in shaping whether white teacher was able to build credibility in predominantly black students in black schools. Students often judge teachers on everyday behavior, learning local customs, recognize the importance of the black church, community lifestyle, understanding family responsibilities. The teacher sometimes misread student behavior, language, or family involvement. Students in turn could interpret unfair discipline or communication styles as unfair.
All right, thank you. Now, we're about to close this out, and I only have 2 questions left. And the next question is for Ms. McDonald. Teaching effectiveness. Showing the advances in what our instructors have in today's learning system. What is it giving our children today, and what do you pick up that they are noticing from you as a leader? I never will forget how I felt when I visited the opening of the new high school. It impressed me so much because I saw something put in place where I had to struggle through going, looking for things, and getting an education. Now these kids have something there that they can touch, feel, without searching. It's important for us to understand the value that our teaching community has given us, and having an understanding of wanting to show us how we can produce and be better. And this is why this question come into play. We want to understand the effectiveness of your teaching today.
There are some apparent differences, obviously, because as anything advances, you have advances in teaching. As a student in Natchez Adams School District in a classroom, it was one way. However the teacher taught it, that's how you were expected to learn. Whether you were the high-performing student, that average student, or that low-performing student, there was still an expectation that this is how you learn. We know that now, understanding the science of reading, understanding pedagogy, understanding theory, we understand that children learn different ways. I'm a visual person. I need to see it. I need you to write it. I'm going to understand it. There are people who may be, they're oral or auditory learners. They need to hear it. And so teachers are now tasked with the responsibility of teaching how students learn, how students process information. Of course, technology advances are very different. As you all, many of you are aware that when the school board was in the process of trying to get a new high school built, there was a gentleman who stood up in a board meeting and said all they need is a chalkboard and a piece of chalk. Well, that's not how education is advancing in the 21st century. Why would you expect the children of Natchez Adams School District simply to have a chalkboard and a piece of chalk, when we know that this world is now technology driven. And so now it is our task to make certain that whatever we believe or can identify that makes learning easier and more effective, that's what we need to provide. Our children need the same resources as children on the West Coast, children on the East Coast, children in affluent neighborhoods, children. It does not matter. It should not matter about your zip code. It should not matter about the neighborhood that you live in. Children are children. One thing that I have brought into my administration that I learned from the people who poured into me, make certain that children know who you are. For me, that is the epitome of what I want to do. I want our children to know that the person who's sitting as the superintendent is coming to your classroom, is coming to your home, is coming to your game. Where did I learn that from? I learned that from the educators who poured into me, who made certain that they were present and they had a voice into my own development. And so as teachers, we have to understand that we are teaching children to assume jobs that have not even been created. As quickly as AI is advancing, Mr. Fields and I had a meeting today to talk about workforce development in Adams County, Natchez Adams County. At one time, our children were encouraged to go to learn to code, to be coders. That's the way of the world. Forgot with the mayor. Coding was the way of the world. Well, now you don't need to go to school to learn how to code. You need to get on your phone. You need to pull up ChatGPT, and I make sure I faithfully pay my subscription. And you need to tell ChatGPT that this is the program that I want to create, and I want you to create the code. That's the power of the technology that's now available to our students. That is the world that we have to try to create. Do I know how to code? I absolutely do not know how to code. But what we are tasked for is to teach our children how to think critically, how to access the tools that are available to you. If you don't know how to write well, tell Chat what it is that you want. You have to harness it, but you cannot be the person who is just a consumer of information. We have to teach our children to be producers of information, not just the person who's going out to pay for it. We want you to be the child who creates it. If it's not there available for you, we want to create it. In Natchez Adams School District, under the vision of our school board, we are working to ensure that we are creating an environment where children have voice into what it is that they deem as what they want to do. I left high school and I had awesome teachers. I got to 12th grade. I had no idea what I wanted to be. I thought I wanted to be a computer coder. I didn't know where I wanted to go to school. Thank God for Ora Frazier, who said, Xander, take this application and fill it out. I didn't know anything about Tougaloo College, but because she believed in me, because she was willing to nurture into me, she put that application in my hand, and I got a full scholarship to Tougaloo College. My parents wouldn't have been able to afford a full ride to a private institution, but because we poured into children, and that is the one characteristic that we want to continue with our children. Pour into our children. If there is a way, we want to help them find the way. If there is not a way, we want to create a way.
Wow. In closing, Ms. Arsenault, we'd like you to give reflections and legacy. Reflections and legacy.
I think that question also said reflections and legacy and what we can take into the future, into our schools now. When we were coming up, the community trusted the churches and the schools. Our parents, the reason I got away with so much, Ms. Edney is here, but Mr. Edney walked down the hallway one day at North Natchez and he said he heard me. I was going off as usual and I got parents in here and he said he backed up because he was on the school board at that time. He said, let me go, what did he say? Let me leave so I won't have to hear, and then I won't have to deal with it. So, but he trusted what I was doing. And I will say this for those kids. I could handle those kids because they knew I cared about them. They knew that if I told them, I got you, don't worry about that. Let mama handle that. Let the prejudice part, we would go some places and it was just ugly. It was, when the environment was ugly. But let me handle that part. You just stay with me. We're going to be all right. And we were. But it's a trust factor. And I thought about it earlier, but it's not just the schools. And I want to make sure I say that tonight. People nowadays don't trust politicians. You know they don't. And for reasons. They have a good reason. We are not filling up our churches. So I don't know why. Do they not trust God? I do. I'm going to trust in God, and I'm going to stick by him because I want to take care of me because he has been good to the girl. So I'm going to stay with it. But our children got to learn that, and our parents got to learn it. That the foundations of the black community were the church and the school. The black church and the black school. Those were the foundations. And people, our parents, trusted us or the teachers with their children. Y'all let me take children there. I flew children to Canada. I'm doing in the air. I'm Washington. Y'all didn't worry about them. Nobody said, well, what you going to do? Y'all had an itinerary. Everybody, but we trusted those people. We have to go back, and I think the legacy to go forward, that's what I want to end with. Where we're going is to rebuild. And it's law enforcement. It's not just schools. Trust in law enforcement. Look at what's going on now with ICE. We don't trust that. So we got to rebuild that. And even here, and I'll tell you where I get my information. When I was in another life, people used to laugh at me. I get my information from beauty shop. People don't trust law enforcement here in Natchez. Go to the beauty shop, you'll hear them. They'll tell you, I don't want to call that in because before I can call it in, somebody's already called somebody and told them I'm calling it in. Now y'all know I'm telling the truth. So, law enforcement, not trusting the schools, and nobody in the churches, or very few people in the churches, or very few children in the churches. And that was where the foundation was built. It was the church and the school together to deal with the community. And that's what we're going to have to here in Natchez, we have to reestablish that trust and that faith by what we exhibit to our young folk. I've enjoyed this tonight. And look, all of you out there, I said, get me now because I'm 76. I'm not going to be, Mr. Jackson, I'm crazy about you, Mr. Jackson. You don't have no business on this panel. You're supposed to be celebrating you. You 80 years old. They said 80 and above. So I want to celebrate everybody in here that's 80 and above. And y'all have given so much to us. And you are still giving it. If I need something, I know where to call. It doesn't matter. The one thing about that, y'all still got it. And y'all show us all the time what to do, how to do it, when to do it, where to do it, and the manner. And poor Mr. Lewis, and Mr. Reesa, they were right down the street, 3 houses I could walk down. I'd go down and I'd sit out on the floor. He said, okay, what have you done now? What do we need to work out? Because he knew it was going to be something. So, but those are the kinds of relationships. He was always going to be Mr. Lewis to me. I'm 76. If he was still living, he would be Mr. Lewis to me. Mr. Freddie Johnson. Y'all understand what I'm saying? That was just a respect level that we need to reestablish. Because, they never got to be Robert and Fred. That was not the way it was going to go in my mind. I still respect people like that. And I always respect the position. I might not respect what you did with the position, but I tried to respect the position. So we just got to build that trust in our communities with our families. There's too much going on. We got to build it with our families and through our churches and in support of our school district. Thank you all tonight.
Well, I want to thank all my panelists. And as I look out here and see a lot of instructors that has had a tremendous impact on my life, I definitely want to say thank you, because there were things in growing up in Natchez that I wasn't aware of until I meet you on the street and you say to me, you need to do this. You need to stop doing that. You got potential to do this and not using it. These things make a difference. And I thank you dearly for being an influence on my life. And as I look at the elder educators, you have instilled something in me to put forward and to let young people see that we make a difference as well. The things that we do and the way we teach and treat them matters. You may not pick it up at the moment, but as you mature, you find out these things matter. So now we're going to open up for about 10 minutes worth of questions. Do you guys have any questions for our panelists? Yes, ma'am. Miss Edney?
I'm not a native Natchez because when I came to Natchez was hiring people from other places. And I worked at Natchez College in their high school program. This is not really working, but what I want to say is when they built Anchorage Junior High School, and that's where I worked, it was such an extraordinary school in the state of Mississippi. We had teachers coming from other counties to observe what we were doing. They are just like a person would come to check on a teacher who was practice teaching. They came to see what was happening in Natchez because we want to do that where we are. We were in the top 5 districts in the state of Mississippi with less than what we have now. And we have so much more now, and we're in the bottom 50. So I'm just wondering what's the problem. And the ad valorem tax has been increased, and I thought that would help the school district. But we can't get above 50.
Okay, Ms. McDonough.
I'm glad you asked. As a student in Natchez Adams School District, every class that I attended was staffed by a highly qualified teacher. Every teacher had a bachelor's degree, and the majority of them had advanced degrees. Master's, I don't remember any teachers having a PhD when I was taught. But they were qualified teachers. Natchez Adams School District, as you're aware, there's a teacher shortage nationwide. And we understand that stability is the key. So what you find is we take people who have degrees, who may not have teaching degrees, who have degrees, and we try to create teachers. By the time we get them prepared, they're gone. Why? Because other school districts understand that Natchez does a really good job of preparing teachers to be teachers. And so as soon as we get them trained, they're out of here because they're getting higher pays in other locations. Whereas you can start here in Natchez at 45 or 47, I don't know what the starting, but you can go to DeSoto, which is near the Memphis area, where there is more there are more things for young people to do. Well, if I can start at 50 or 60, where am I going to choose? So a lot of educators, I will include myself, we are here because we're rooted here. Young people, they're going where the money is. You have children now who will say, as soon as I get my high school diploma, I'm out of here. The next thing is, when we were in school, there were achievement tests, but there was not a rating that was assigned to a school based on an achievement test. So, but now there is a rating that's based upon an achievement test. When I was in school, you went to school. Sick, well, you went to school. And you did what the teacher said do. You did your homework. Why? My parents were working parents. However, there was an expectation that whatever your teacher says do, that's what you're going to do. The dynamics of the family in Natchez Adams School District are drastically different. You have a lot of single parents that I applaud because mamas have to do what they have to do to keep a roof over the children's head and keep food on the table. I understand that. But I also understand she may not be at home to help that third grader know how to, with their homework. We have to address that. I understand that I went to school. As teachers, you expected your students to be there. Several years ago, we were on the list of one of the districts with the highest chronic absentees in the state. I would love to be able to go and say, you got to get your kid here, but I can't make you. And so if the children are not coming, if they're not in the seats, we can't teach them. That's another factor. A lot of our parents did not have positive educational experiences themselves. And so when you don't have a positive educational experience yourself, then when your children come along, then you don't have anything to pass along to them. So when I have a fourth grader at home and I'm calling mom and I'm saying, because that's what we do, that's part of our intervention. If the child is not coming to school, we have several people who are designated to make contact. What is it that we need to do to support you and your child, ensuring that that child is coming to school? But when I talk to a parent, they say, they ain't got to come to school. I'm not sending my kid to school, and you can't make me. I had a conversation with a parent today. She said the kid who had cut up yesterday, the principal called her. She told me, he's coming back to school. There ain't going to be no consequence, and y'all do what y'all want to do. So again, those dynamics are different. However, despite all of those challenges, we have continuously been able to move the needle. If you remember in 2015, 2016, not quite can't remember when Mr. Butcher was placed here as superintendent, the majority of our schools were low-performing schools. We've been able to move that needle. But along with that, the state is moving the needle. And so as soon as we figure out how to play the game, because it has become a numbers game, you are given credit for dual enrollment. Other affluent districts, their parents can afford to send children through dual enrollment courses and pay for them. That's not our story. So although we've been doing a really great job of educating students through Natchez Early College and now Natchez High School, you all are paying for dual enrollment courses. At one time, we could pay for 50 students. But with tuition increases, we're now down to 40 students per class. We're giving points. Our school district can pay for 40 students to put them on this scoreboard to get points for dual enrollment. Other districts that have higher budgets can now put more students on that board in order to get more points. In other districts, children are coming to school ready to read. You all know as parents, you knew your ABCs, you knew your name, you knew your numbers. A lot of us went to school knowing how to read. We have a lot of children who enter the door. They barely know their names. They don't know their ABCs. You would think 5 years old and you don't know your ABCs? That's foreign to many of us that sit in the room, but that's not foreign to our current experience. So imagine taking a kid at kinder who does not know how to read, who does not know their ABCs, don't know the beginning of phonics or anything, and having to get those children prepared for a third grade reading. They're already behind. But what have we been able to do? Despite those challenges, we have been able to take children coming into kinder who are not ready to read, and we have moved from 50 or 60%, about 50% of those children being able to read at grade level by third grade. Now we're at 60, moving towards 70% of those children. So despite those challenges, we're reading. And then again, don't let a test fool you. If I come in today, the accountability is on the grown-ups. The accountability is not on children. So if children come in and say, I don't want to do the test today, guess what? They don't do it. And what's the repercussion for them? None. So there are a lot of challenges that we have. in Natchez Adams School District. But I assure you that there are also a lot of great things that are happening in Natchez School District. And I invite any of you all, you want to know what's going on, come in and join us so that you can see what children are actually able to do in Natchez Adams School District and the type of student that we are graduating in 12 years. Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Well, at this time, we're going to turn it over to the mayor. Mayor Dan Gibson.
Thank you, and thank you to everyone for being here. Thank you to our panelists. I have enjoyed the conversation, and also I have to say always thank you to this church, to Reverend White, and to the congregation here at this beautiful Rose Hill Baptist Church, which happens to be the oldest black church in Mississippi. You know, Natchez is full of history, and I have learned so much just tonight. I want to, in just a moment, have us honor what we call our angels of education, those who have served our community so well and who have been a part of the history of this community. Just a short time ago, just a few days ago, I was watching an account of what was happening in America in 1957. And that is when Brown versus Board of Education took place. And in Little Rock, Arkansas, 9 brave students integrated Little Rock High School. They call them the Little Rock Nine. The governor did not want to help them to go to school as they were freely entitled to go. And thank goodness we had a president, Dwight D. Eisenhower, who did not even blink an eye at the idea of sending in the National Guard to safely see those students into school. Now that's 1957. It is so sad to imagine that it would be years later here in Natchez that we would fully experience the results of Brown versus Board of Education. And I am so glad, Ms. Arsenault, that you brought that up, that in 1989 there were some very brave citizens here, and some of you who are here tonight, who were a part of that historic movement right here in Natchez. I was in Jackson in 1970, 5 years old, when the Jackson Public Schools finally integrated. And I was so grateful to enter first grade, one of the first classes to go fully integrated from 1st through 12th. When I graduated at Murrah High School in 1983, I actually took it for granted. In some respects, I didn't realize just how special that was and what history had been made. And tonight, I've gotten a feel for just what it must have been like to be a teacher during that experience. When I started Boyd Elementary School in Jackson, Mississippi, all I saw were loving teachers. And I can remember so many of them to this day. And I did not, hello, Reverend White, good to see you. And I did not know at that time just what that must have been like, because they didn't let any of that stress show. They showed us love. It didn't matter if we were white kids, black kids, or whatever. We were shown love. In, I guess it was 2023, now 3 years ago, our class at Murrah High School celebrated our 40th reunion. And we had a fantastic turnout. And I was blessed to be the organizer of it. Ms. McDonald, I don't know how I did it, being mayor too, but it was phenomenal. We had such a great turnout, white and black, well over 50 of our students. But we also had a few teachers. and we had one of our teachers, Ms. Vernell Forrest Lewis, show up. And I knew her as Miss Forrest. I hadn't seen her in so many years. It was so wonderful to see her. And since then, she'll reach out and check in with me. Just at Christmas, I got a Merry Christmas text from her. And so as we were contemplating Black History Month, it occurred to me that Miss Forrest was an example in my life of so many great teachers who did so much and who have really, at times, not gotten the recognition that you deserved. Also, it has occurred to me since I've been mayor that we are slowly losing some of our history because we have all known teachers now who have reached that age and then passed away. And so tonight, we want to say thank you to those teachers who have served. And I know we're practicing age discrimination tonight because we're saying 80 and above. But we have to, I guess, draw the line somewhere, or we would be here all night. We've got a certificate for all of these teachers who are now 80 and above who have served. And I want to thank Bobby Dennis, NAPAC, and a committee that helped pull this together. I see Ms. McMurtry back there, and Ms. Anderson, I think, is here. I know Ms. Newsom has helped. Vel Robinson, our community liaison for the mayor's office. And so there's been a lot of work go into identifying who these teachers are. Now, I know they may not all be here tonight, but we're going to call out these names and ask you, if you're here, to please come forward. And we're going to ask you to then come up, and we're going to probably have because we don't want to have our backs to our panelists. Give them a hand. They've been fantastic. We're going to ask them to sit in the front pews here. I'm going to ask Ms. Robinson to come and help me, and because we're going to have these angels that we're about to honor to all come and line up here as we call your names and make your presentations. So good to see you. Thank you. And so we have certificates. Ms. Robinson, if you'll come, you have medals. And over here, Mr. Bobby, I may need some help too. We'll get them out of here. It's a lot of them. And I want to thank Ms. Thelma Newsom for helping us to get these certificates made. And we're going to show these to you in just a minute. Before we do this, I would like, if you can stand, if you're able, I would like all of our teachers, current and retired, to please stand. We just want to see all of you. Wow. Well, we salute you. We salute you tonight. You indeed have made a difference. Because of you, there are children, now adults, who are doing way more than they ever dreamed possible. And it's because each one of you have touched each one of them. Thank you. Thank you. Well, we're going to call these names. Now, give yourselves another round of applause. Okay. Okay. Now, these aren't in any particular order, but I'm going to show you these. We also have a medallion, and those who aren't here, we're going to send these with Mr. Bobby Dennis over to NAPAC. What would we do without NAPAC? And they will be available there to be picked up. But the City of Natchez proudly presents this certificate of special recognition to this one is Mr. Jimmy Love. And is Mr. Love here? Mr. Love, of course you are. You know, the first time I met Mr. Love We were at a fish fry or something, and he said, my name is easy to remember because it's the best word in the world, love. Mr. Jimmy Love, in heartfelt appreciation of your lifelong dedication to education and your outstanding service as a teacher.
That's right. That's exactly, and I'm so glad you got love first.
I tell you what, your wisdom, commitment, and compassion have shaped generations of learners and strengthened our community. This honor is bestowed in celebration of 80-plus years of life and with deep gratitude for your 38 and a half years of devoted service in the field of education. Your legacy of excellence and service will continue to inspire future generations, presented this 19th day of February, 2026.
You know what my job is today?
What is your job?
I have a job, a real rough job.
What is that?
I have a lot of disciples in Louisiana and Mississippi, and I be trying to meet them on payday.
Oh, my goodness.
That's right. It's an awful job.
Mr. Love, we have this medallion also. It has the city seal on the front and on the back, Angel Award 2026. Now, if you would stay up front, we're going to get a group picture in a moment of everybody at the same time. Okay, you got that? All right. Y'all, the next one we're going to ask is Mrs. Peggy M. Hickenbottom is here. She is. And Ms. Hickenbottom, we want to thank you for your 80-plus years of life and with deep gratitude for your 32 years of devoted service. Now, this is, I was about to say, y'all.
Thank you.
And I know her. And so that was messing with me because I was about to see what beauty products she's using. Monica, it's so good to see you. Stay up here for our picture, okay? Okay. Thank you. And yes, we're going to get a group picture in just a moment. Ms. Laura Price. Okay, we will be taking this to her. Okay, we have someone coming to get this. And if you can claim these for the individuals, with deep gratitude for your 37 years of devoted service. And she is here. Here, Mrs. Price. Mrs. Price, you look beautiful. My goodness. Well, I tell you what, they can't get you, obviously. Let me give you this.
Thank you so much.
And we thank you. Certainly. Here. Oh, it's my honor. Oh, it's so good to see you, Ms. Price. Thank you. Y'all, and we can also take a few pictures right after we have all these presentations. But isn't this a wonderful night? Mrs. Mary C. Smith, in gratitude for your 30 years of devoted service. It's so good to see you, Ms. Smith. I've got this for you. Thank you so much. Thank you for your service. Thank you. Mr. Willie Bill Woods, with deep gratitude for your 36 years. Gosh, and I tell you, Mr. Woods, such a gentleman, and I'm just so glad to see you tonight. We've got this medal for you as well.
Thank you, sir.
God bless you.
Okay. Thank you as well.
God bless you. Thank you. Ms. Clementine Youngblood. Ms. Youngblood, Deep appreciation for your 31 years. For your 31 years. And we have this for you. Oh, God bless you. God bless you. You know, this is what makes Natchez such a special place. Mrs. Eva Love. Mr. Love. All right. Brother, okay. I was waiting for Mr. Love to come get this. Well, this is for Mrs. Eva Love, and it's good to see you for 40 years of service. And so let me, please pass this along to her. Thank you. God bless you. Mrs. Estelle Bamford. Is she here? For 29 years of service. Okay, let me have this. All right. We got it. Thank you so much. All right. Y'all, our next one is Ms. Melissa Bolden. Ms. Bolden? Ms. Bolden, thank you so much. You're welcome. Are we going? Okay, we'll take a picture here. God bless you. God bless you. Thank you for your service and just being the angel you are. Thank you. Ms. Betty Bowser. Ms. Bowser, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
And God bless you.
Thank you.
God bless you. Oh, I think Mr. Terrell's trying to get a picture here. And Mr. Roland Bowser, I'll give it to you. Mr. Roland Bowser, 41 years. And Ms. Bowser, how many years did you serve? Was it 30?
No.
It was
43.
43 years. My goodness. I guess teaching keeps you young. Y'all won't believe this, but I was a social studies teacher once. 1 year. Yeah, 1 year. Mrs. Artis T. Simmons Butler. 36 and a half years. Oh, goodness, Ms. Butler. Oh, God bless you. Here, we had this. It looks like we're getting a picture. We'll turn this around. Okay. God bless you. Mrs. Camille Carter, 20 years. Mrs. Carter, it's good to see you. Ms. Carter, God bless you. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Oh, we're getting another one here. Oh. Ms. Mildred Carter.
I'm going to accept her. She's in the hospital.
She is. Oh. Thank you, Ms. Here we go. 38 years of service. Ms. Lillian Clark Edney. Ms. Edney. Ms. Edney, 26 years. Oh, thank you. And God bless you. God bless you. We have here Mrs. Nancy Green. Oh, Miss Green, there you are. 31 years. And you look beautiful. Congratulations. And thank you. Thank you for your years of service. Mrs. Renza Grinnell. Is Mrs. Grinnell here? Well, Mrs. Grinnell served for 41 and a half years. And we'll make sure that she gets it. Mrs. Pearl H. Groom, 47 years. My goodness. 47 years. Y'all, that's over half her life. I tell you. Wow. Oh, you look beautiful. Congratulations, Miss Groom. Congratulations. Here. We're going to walk this way so he can get you. Thank you. We have now Ms. Leola Harris. My goodness. Ms. Leola, you started teaching. You taught for 48 years. I remember when you retired. So good. It's so good to see you, Ms. Leola. Yes. The one and only. Amen. That's right. You better get the Okay. Oh my goodness, Mr. Larry Jackson. He is a legend, and I truly have enjoyed getting to know you, Mr. Jackson. Thank you. Thank you for your service. Oh yeah, we've got 40 years service. 40 years service. Mr. Jackson. Come on, Mr. Terrell's taking some pictures there. We'll open it up. There we go. There we go. Mrs. Bessie Jenkins for 23 years. Ms. Jenkins? Okay. We'll make sure she gets it. Let's see here. Ms. Joyce Johnson, 41 and a half years. All right. We'll make sure she gets it. Mrs. Lillian Johnson. All right, Ms. Johnson. 43 years. 45. Uh-oh. You know what? Miss Thelma can help us. We'll get that correct.
Please, don't slack my
So, I mean, really, that's right. 45 years.
Yes.
So proud of you.
Thank you.
Ms. Johnson. Mr. Wilbur Johnson. Mr. Wilbur is... Listen, you please tell Mr. Wilbur hello. In 40 years. 40 years of service. Do you want a picture here? We want a picture here, Ms. Bowser.
I'm taking a picture for Mr. Johnson.
All right.
Just hold up.
Here we... We'll do a do-over. Let's do it. We're going to do it. We got it? Thank you. We have Ms. Marjorie Kynes. Ms. Marjorie Kynes, 43 years. Oh, I know she's proud of you. Well, this is, and make sure she knows that we appreciate her.
She's 98 years old.
My goodness. Wow. What a blessing. What a blessing. Mrs. Mabel King, 19 years. All right, Miss King. I was about to say, I started looking. I'm not wearing my glasses. Hey, listen, congratulations, and please give our love to your father. Mr. Fred Marsalis, 59 years. My goodness. All right, y'all, 59 years. We're about to ask Mr. Marsalis to see his driver's license. I don't know how these numbers add up. It's so good to see you, Mr. Marsalis. It is. And I tell you, not only did he do a wonderful job passing on such wisdom to future generations, but I know a mighty fine young man that he also had a hand in raising. We got the years on there, 59 years. All right, y'all, I think Mr. Marsalis has the record so far. Man. And it's safe. How many of y'all got taught by Mr. Marsalis? We have any of his students in here? All right, Mrs. Mildred Mitchell, 26 years. Ms. Mitchell, Mildred Mitchell. We'll make sure she gets it. Y'all, the stack is getting less. We're getting there. Okay. Here, Ms. Edney. Here we go. Thank you. Mrs. Laureen Mock, 39 and a half years. Is she here? We'll get it to her. Okay, we'll make sure she gets it. Mrs. Clara Pinkney. Okay, 43 years. 43 years. I think we want to get a picture. Give her our love. Mrs. Bonita Reed, 37.25 years. All right, Ms. Reed, we're so grateful for you.
Thank you.
So grateful for you. We're getting. Mrs. Evelyn Smith. Ms. Evelyn Smith. And we have, this is many years. We didn't have the exact year count for Mrs. Smith. Can you get it to her? All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. Here we go. Mrs. Mary G. Stanton. Ms. Stanton? "38 years. Oh, well, please give her our love. Thank you. Thank you. Mrs. Flora Terrell. 40 years. 40 years. Now, I know Mr. Terrell wants a picture of this one.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Terrell. Thank you. Oh, Ms. Terrell, we're getting one more. Mrs. Elnora Washington. 33 years. 33 years. Ms. Washington, thank you for your service. Thank you. 33. Oh, one more time. Uh-oh, one more time. All right, Ms. Washington. Thank you. Mr. Cleveland Watts. Mr. Watts, right in front of you. Mr. Watts, it's been a pleasure to get to hear your stories tonight and to be with you. Thank you for all your years. Oh, my goodness. 52 and a half. Hey, you know that Mr. Marsalis over there?
Yes, he taught me. No, I was fortunate enough to work with Judge.
Really? Wait, say that again?
I was fortunate enough to work with Judge Hudson over juveniles
Yes.
for about 9.5 years.
Oh, I see. My goodness. We're going to get another picture. Here we go, Mr. Watts. So, y'all, when you start adding up, I think we're about to hit 1,000 years of service here tonight. Ms. Jacqueline Williams. Ms. Williams, 32 and a half years. Ah, that's all. 32 and a half. God bless you. We appreciate you so much, Ms. Williams. Ms. N. Jeanette Wilson. Ms. Wilson? Okay, all right. For 30 years. For 30 years. Good to see you. Thank you so much. Give her our love.
Take a picture.
Oh, we want to. We're getting serious now about this picture taking. Awesome. Mr. Willie Coach Woods. Is Coach Woods here? I see him. Coach Woods is here tonight. Coach Woods. Half a century. I know. But we call him Bill. You know, 50 years. That's a long time, Coach Woods.
But I enjoyed it.
That's a lot of students that you've touched. Oh.
I had a lot of good friends.
Coach, you look great. It's so good to see you. when you think of all the lives that all of the lives that you have impacted upon, it's truly remarkable. Mrs. Jimmy Love. We just gave 38 and a half. This is, I think, a duplicate. It's a duplicate, Mr. Love. It's a duplicate. All right. Mrs. Audrey Dean. Ms. Audrey Dean, 25 years. We'll make sure she gets it. All right. Mrs. Annie Walker. Annie Walker, 26 years. Okay? Yes. Here we go. Thank you, Ms. Reed. We have here Mrs. Mary Helen Woods. Here she is. 25 years. This is her daughter, and please give her our love. Thank you. Okay, y'all, that is it. Do we have anyone over the age of 80 that we failed to recognize tonight? Okay, now I'm going to just say this. Those of you who might be turning 80 next year, make sure you get in touch with Mr. Bobby Dennis, and we'll keep this going. It's been a really wonderful night. We have touched upon a lot of history tonight. Dr. Roscoe Barnes, I see you in the back of the room. I want to thank you for helping us bring this about. And all that you do, Dr. Barnes, in cultural tourism, telling our story, and all of the additions you have made in our community in better telling the history of Natchez. Thank you. We are about to conclude, and I just want to leave this with you. I want to thank you for the love that you represent. It has been a labor of love for you to have been there for so many thousands of young people over many, many years. You have truly made a difference, and I am so grateful to be your mayor and to be here tonight to celebrate with you such a great milestone in the history of Natchez. May we continue to grow together as one Natchez, as one community. We aren't perfect, but every day we strive to be better. And I think that's all God asks of us. I would like, if Reverend White wouldn't mind, to invite Pastor Leroy White to please come share a closing word with us and also a benediction. And I do believe we have some refreshments in the fellowship hall. Hasn't it been wonderful being in this historic, beautiful church?
Let us bow our heads in a word of prayer. Oh, precious Almighty God, we thank you for all that has taken place in this place tonight. We thank you for the legacy. We thank you for the love. Most of all, we thank you for the community spirit that we have encountered on this night. Bless us now as we go forward. And now may the God of peace, joy, love, and understanding rest, rule, and abide with you. Now bless the food we're about to receive. May be the nourishment to our hearts, our souls, and our minds. It is in Jesus' name we pray. And everyone said amen.
Amen.
Before you go, they want all the picture of all of you that receive awards. Would you come up front if you can?
Thank you for the reminder.
Come up front, all of you, and the Bluff City Poster. Take a picture of you. Got you, man. Proud of you, man. Proud of you.
One with me in it, then I'm going to get out of the way, and it's just going to be